Pretty much everyone in Florida and the vast majority of folks on the East Coast have their eyes on Hurricane Lee. It is way out in the Atlantic, of course, just now beginning to approach the Leeward Islands. Nobody really knows what tomorrow holds with this particular storm, but for those of us who are Christians, we know who holds tomorrow. I watched a video earlier from the Patriot Nurse, and I came away with a thought of the serenity prayer. Now, a lot of folks know this part of it. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Most folks stop there, but the prayer continues. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. Reinhold Niebuhr. Thank you, all of you. We may not know what tomorrow holds, but we know who holds tomorrow. It's an old song. Those of you who've joined us, the $1 level, God bless you. Those of you at the $5 level, same thing. I appreciate all of it, no matter what. Even those of you here at YouTube, you make my life what it is day to day. We're never promised tomorrow. But I'd like to share something with you guys today that I think you're really going to appreciate, because it'll really make you think. It'll really make you wonder where we're going in this country. Now, as always, Track the Tropics does a fantastic job of giving you all the different imagery. This is Track the Tropics, just like it sounds. TrackTheTropics. Track the Tropics. It has links to all of the other websites that people look at, all of the other images. It's all in one place. Definitely a wonderful place to go. I wanted to share this. This is from about a month ago. I had meant to share it in another video, and I didn't. I have a little unit on the roof here that measures all of these different things. Outside humidity and barometer readings. It's got a little spinny thing on it for the wind. And this was from 11 August of this year at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was 101 degrees, dew point of 85, humidity 61%, had a feels like temperature of 134.1 degrees. Guys, I've lived through some hot summers in my lifetime. I've never seen anything like this at all. Now, what's the main topic of today's video? There's an article on CNN that will really make you scratch your head. It'll make you wonder. Some workers who rebuild homes after hurricanes are afraid to go to Florida. They blame a law DeSantis championed. Now, what's the law? Well, the new law in Florida is that anybody who transports anyone who isn't in this country legally commits a felony, and you will be immediately caught deported. And if you're, transporting them and you're a citizen here, you're going to be a felon. So there are these companies that used to come into Florida, and a lot of them had undocumented migrant workers that would come in and help clean everything up. And a lot of these companies are saying, we're not going to go to Florida. It's just not worth the risk. Immigrant workers from across the U.S. raced to Florida to help rebuild after Hurricane Ian devastated the region. That was last year. But now, nearly a year later, days after another major hurricane hit, this was Ida, some of those, or was it Ida? What was the most recent one? It began with an I. Some of those workers say this time they're staying home. Saket Soni, whose nonprofit Resilience Force advocates for thousands of disaster response workers, says there's one clear reason behind the shift: Florida's new immigration law, which Governor DeSantis championed. I'm very fearful, says Soni, the organization's executive director. No amount of money would be worth it if it meant they would be incarcerated or deported. DeSantis touted the law as ambitious. Immigrant rights advocates called it draconian. Now, I guess you'd have to ask yourself the question. If you're for the previous president, if you're for Mr. Trump, and you want to look for any reason you can to denigrate or make Governor DeSantis look bad, which is what people do. They spend their whole day doing that. You would have to ask yourself a question. Well, this would be a great way to do it, but this sounds like something that President Trump would have been for. So how do I take something that I know President Trump would have been for and use it against his direct opponent, DeSantis? Because the minute I mention it, people are going to say, hey, wait a minute. Wasn't Mr. Trump about building walls and Fortress America and everybody who's not white should get the hell out and all that stuff? And don't make no mistake, that's exactly what he believes. That's what Make America Great Again is all about. Because he's from the 50s. Anybody who doesn't speak the language that he speaks, anybody who doesn't look like him, needs to, go back where they came from. That's basically Mr. Trump in a nutshell. And Governor DeSantis has caught the ire of the left for shipping undocumented immigrants up to Martha's Vineyard and to sanctuary cities and sanctuary states and blue states and all this kind of stuff. And so he's kind of followed suit with this. But now, with the hurricanes coming and these companies saying, look, we'd love to come help, but we have people that you've said you're going to immediately pick up and deport. Now, what's always the answer? Here's the thinking part. What is always the answer from the people who support this kind of stuff? It's not that we have a problem with their skin color or where they come from. We just want them to come here legally. But wait a minute. Listen to your own words. What you want is for them to come here with the approval of the deep state. That's not what I said. Yes, it is. Who do you think is in charge of immigration in Washington, D.C.? Do you think they bring a list before the president every day when he's in office? Say, well, here are the people, Mr. President, that want to come here. You can say yes or no. It doesn't work that way. Coming here legally, meaning you come here through the bureaucracy of Washington, D.C., and you get the approval of the bureaucracy. You know people like Unfireable Fauci? How many of you heard this lately? Look it up. Donald Trump was directly confronted and said, why did you allow Fauci to do this? Why didn't you fire him? What did Mr. Trump say? Look it up. Fact. What did he just say? You couldn't fire Fauci. He's civil service. Really? Unfireable Fauci. That was Mr. Trump's excuse for this. Do you buy that? I don't buy that. I don't buy that one bit. That's why it's called, whenever we elect a new president, we name the administration after them, because everybody in the administration, serving all the way up to the Secretary of State, serves at the pleasure of the president. You're telling me that the president can dismiss the Secretary of State, but not somebody like Anthony Fauci. And I'm not saying that. Don't say Florida Monkey said. Look it up. Donald Trump said this. So this is the part that would make you think, would you like to grab onto the story that makes DeSantis look bad, but in the process also kind of makes Donald Trump look bad? Or would you like to say that, well, you know what, maybe this wasn't well thought out? See, this whole idea of legal, deep state approved, bureaucratic immigration being your choice, contradicts the very fundamental reason why allegedly Mr. Trump was elected in the first place. He's going to go there and do what? New sheriff in town. I'm going to go there and I'm going to clean house. And oh no, everybody I chose is all of a sudden against me and I don't know who I can trust. You see the problem here? This is the problem that we're having right now. And lest anyone think it's only on the right, CNN is beside themselves. They can't figure something out. How are things going in the country today? This is CNN poll. Only 30% of the people polled by CNN said things were going well. 70% said badly. Now, here's the article. You ready for this? Why Biden's strong economy feels so bad to most Americans. See, this is what they call cognitive dissonance. as much cognitive dissonance as there would be by someone saying, wait a minute, do I really want legal immigration? Do I want deep state bureaucrat approved immigration? Is that what I'm really saying? The people on the left are saying the same thing. It's like, this is the worst, best economy ever. It's the worst, most strongest economy ever. What? It's like, what? This is no lie. This isn't the Babylon Bee. This is 5:02 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 7 September 2023. What's the biggest problem with the U.S. economy right now? The vibes are off. Oh, it's only because you feel wrongly. Remember how many times did this channel say, do not consult your feelings. Consult your mind. Thinking and feeling are two different things. I've said this a million times. The idea, the basic fundamental tenet of PSYOPs is to get people emotionally involved in something, but still have them believing that they're thinking. That's the key. You have to have them in an emotional state while they are self-deluding themselves in believing that they are having some type of a thought event in their life. By almost any objective measure, meaning thought, Americans are doing much better economically than they were 3 years ago when President Joe Biden took office. Still, a majority, 58%, says Biden's policies have made economic conditions worse. That's up from 50% a year ago. But the grim outlook is at odds with the hard data, which reveal an economy bursting with optimism. Meaningless statistics are up 50%, apparently. Has the economy improved under Joe Biden? There's literally no question, said Justin Wolfers, a professor of public policy and economics at the University of Michigan. In January 2021, the start of Biden's term, everything sucked. And does everything still suck? It sucks way worse. It sucks way worse because they're believing their own garbage now. How the economy is thriving, which it's not. It's just insane. Gas prices are a reason that things are going good. Unaffordable housing, that's another reason things are going good. Oh, but it's the partisan gap. Only 2% of Republicans and 48% of Democrats said economic conditions have improved under Biden. See, even their own people, even here at CNN, the home of self-delusion, can't even delude themselves sufficiently. So, anyway, new video from the Patriot Nurse. Check it out. She reveals a ton of really super truthful content in this video that she did earlier today, talking about this idea of, quote unquote, the greatest generation being basically a bunch of entitled socialists. And now the millennials are having to pay for it. She's apparently a millennial. So I'm not even going to come anywhere near trying to guess her age. I know better, but she says she's a millennial. I believe her, and that's where I'm going to leave it. So I know when to not go down certain roads. So anyway, fantastic video. Titled, Boomers Were Coming for Your Stuff, How the Next Wealth Transfer Comes. It is chock-a-block full, like an Australian would say, of wonderful information. Best 20 minutes you'll spend after you're done watching this video. So God bless. Thank you, everyone. I very, very much appreciate your support. If you can, help support those of us out here doing our best to get the truth out. We'd sure appreciate it. I know $1 doesn't seem like a lot, but it makes a huge difference when a lot of people show up and work together. So God bless. Pray for me. I'll pray for you. Pray for each other. Lift each other up. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.